Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hearthstone. So we have a quest here of 3 priest victories and that's what we're going to go for. And that's about all we need to go for. So one of the things here as we play priest ranked that I'm on Twitter. I follow a lot of video game companies. So I follow like 2K, who just in the time between this recording and the last recording has come out and said, even though Battleborn failed, we're not giving up on it, which almost you should just read that as they're giving up on it.
The light shall bring victory.
You can't say anything different. You really can't. You want to get as many sales as possible. You're thinking to yourself, well, for every, if I go out there and say, we're totally giving up on it, we're not going to add any content, it's never going to get any better, is that going to get you more sales or less sales? It's going to get you less. So, of course, they just say we're not going to give up on it. That's the easiest thing in the world to say. It is right up there with, we want to win back your trust from a video game company. It's like, well, yeah, okay, that's just pointless talk. But I watch also Gearbox. I've talked way too much about a lot of things, but one of the things I've talked too much about is I want to eventually play Borderlands. Borderlands 2, Borderlands pre-sequel, which I haven't even played the pre-sequel before, and so I watch Gearbox, and they're advertising these swimwear for the summer that's Borderlands themed. This website that apparently has, when I clicked on the link, it has about 6 pieces of swimwear, 3 for male, 3 for female, about that. It's about an even split, and 2 are for, one is like a male Borderlands, one is a female Borderlands, like 2 are Star Wars themed, 2 are Mass Effect themed, which already points to the fact that they're a little bit behind on the times and they probably just have extra things, extra copies from last summer. But the Borderlands particularly, although the Star Wars wasn't much better, the N7 like armor design for Mass Effect actually does kind of work as a little bit better as swimwear because it's not that complicated a design. But the Borderlands ones don't make any sense at all. The girl's 2-piece is supposed to be like claptrap, but it's a medium to medium-sized 2-piece. It's an average 2-piece, so the patches of fabric that make up a 2-piece leave a lot of empty space that you then have to mentally fill in the dots for. Here, let's do this.
Embrace the void.
So effectively the claptrap is the 2 corners, top corners of claptrap on the bra part of the top base of which it is. I guess it's not actually called a bra. And then the very bottom part, which attaches to the of claptrap, which attaches to the wheel. So not even the wheel is the bottom part of the 2-piece, and everything else is missing. And it's no better on the guy's side either, because the guy's is are they called Bermuda shorts, or they're shorts, swimsuit style shorts, and it's just orange camo basically that the psychos wear. It's hard to even recognize that it's from Borderlands. It could just be a design, And it's not like there are any characters anywhere. It doesn't say Borderlands anywhere. It's just like, this is a really weird point to make a design for. Particularly for swimwear, because honestly I think for swimwear, you're not... swimwear and clothes in general, it's just like solid colors I think are more worth your time. So
I bleed for Cthulhu.
So yeah, I would just say get solid colors. You could get stripes, you could get polka dots. I'm not a big fan of stripes personally myself, but I mean, solid colors with one stripe is fine. It's I wouldn't say get plaid. I wouldn't say do anything like that.
Are you my master?
If you were gonna go with something that was more like a t-shirt that had a logo or something, that kind of makes sense, although swimwear again makes no sense. Even if you're a super fan of Borderlands, unless you're living like on the beach, unless you're spending so much time there that you're probably gonna get skin cancer, which I mean I'm not saying that lightly, but you would have to, you would really have to be on the beach that often for it to make any sense. And then when you get into like, if you're a professional swimmer or something, you're actually not gonna be given the opportunity to wear something that fancy anyways, because if you're a professional swimmer, you're gonna want something that's
in the light's name,
more like a Speedo type. Is that what they are called? Or are they called speed suits? I think Speedo. So the product seems just kind of pointless and frivolous, and I don't even know why I'm talking about it this much. Let's move on. It's just weird. Oh yeah, the other thing is, I hate to live up to the stereotype, but man, there are a lot of video game players out there that are not models. They're not model bodies, and I'm not sure how many people would really want to wear even the moderately revealing clothes of that. I don't know where the Venn diagram really belongs. That's not to say that all video games players are fat, ugly people. It's not true at all. I know at least a few very, very good-looking video game players, and but there is a lot of, just in the United States on average, a lot of people that aren't very good looking, and I don't know, maybe I am feeding into a stereotype there. Moving on. The next thing I have to talk about, imitation weapons. Here's a... Well, no, actually, the next thing I have to talk about is Elder Scrolls Legends is in beta. In fact, it's in so much beta that I can't actually log into it. I tried desperately before this because I thought, yeah, that'd be free. I could do it. I could make some extra videos. I could, if I got Elder Scrolls Legends really working, maybe I could even like double up. It wouldn't be a terrible thought.
I'll be back.
It really wouldn't be a terrible thought if I started doing like one day is Hearthstone, one day is Elder Scrolls Legends. Your nightmare begins. The main problem that I see right now with Elder Scrolls Legends is that it's such a ripoff of Hearthstone. It really is. The only thing we've seen so far that's in any way different is they have a lane system. So there's half your cards can be on one side, and if he doesn't have anybody with taunt on the other side, you can just attack the face. And then on the other lane, he could have somebody with the taunt, but this character could still attack the face. And the life is a little bit different. You have more life, and it seems like you have stronger characters. They've made a few tweaks that are actually worse tweaks and are going to have you win faster or lose faster. Which maybe that isn't a bad idea on the second thought. Yeah.
Let the hunt
Anyways, I
begin.
wanted to get in the beta and get it, but their launcher is just broken. It keeps telling me the password is wrong. The password is wrong. I go change the password. I tried a new password. The password's wrong. The password's wrong. I'm like, oh, what in the world is going on here? They just made their stupid Bethesda launcher to do Fallout 4 and Fallout Shelter. If you saw that video, I certainly logged into the launcher to do Fallout Shelter and then never played Fallout Shelter again, which is the right move, almost certainly. But
in the light's name.
Yeah, it's just not letting me log in, and so that's frustrating. Is it really worth my effort to play it in beta? I might as well. If it's free, as long as I can stream it. But there's I said previously that if they really want to defeat Hearthstone, they have to offer something new, and so far they haven't offered anything new. But I almost kind of want to rescind that thought and say maybe they just offer something different. Maybe if just half the card players go to Elder Scrolls Legends and half the players stay on Hearthstone, I can play in both and have a better experience in both places. That's probably over-optimistic thinking, but at least it's a thought. So, I will keep my eyes out on Elder Scrolls Legends, but I don't know what I can really do as long as the thing won't let me log in. Next story. Imitation weapons were not allowed at Gamescom. And it's kind of funny the way that's phrased, because it's like, imitation weapons, not acceptable. Real weapons, perfectly fine with. That's not what they mean, but heck, the way they're phrasing it, they are focusing on one thing while not mentioning something else very obvious. In the wake of whatever recent terrorist attacks happened, they're saying imitation weapons are not allowed at Gamescom. I'm always at a weird point up with this one anyways, because I feel like cosplay just shouldn't be in video game conventions anyways. I'm not sure that we should even have video game conventions. There's a difference between like E3 where they announce new games and just places where video game players come together and make friends. And I guess there's nothing wrong when I think about that description of a bunch of people who like video games meeting together and organizing. And then if I go further in that line of thought, there's really nothing wrong with them wanting to dress up. It's each convention's decision whether they want imitation weapons or not. I think it's kind of ridiculous thinking that, as is often with conventions, it seems like the people in charge of them might just be people that make money running conventions and aren't in tune with the audience enough. So, I mean, you would hope the security people that you would be walking through metal detectors. Any weapon or any item whatsoever, you walk in there, which I imagine in most conventions it's a mistake to walk in with any items anyways, because then you're gonna put it down and lose it or something like that. Almost certainly in the selling booth there are going to be people selling imitation weapons of some kind. There's going to be something like that for sale, almost certainly. So that hypocritical line of thinking. It's almost always the case there. But you would imagine security is smart enough. It's like, run it through a metal detector. If it's metallic, say no. If it doesn't beep metallic, you're fine. And if it does beep metallic, then you look at it. See, the only thing I could even imagine is if somebody made if somebody took like a gun, a real gun, and then encased it in foam. Not so even that the trigger was still the same trigger or anything. Just took a like regular handgun, encased it in the foam of some giant weapon, and then walked to the metal detector and then said, well, I use metal to keep it rigid. I mean, that's the only thing you can do that. But then that logic also falls apart, and you just security would have to have thought about that and done scenarios for that, because you could just as easily make a helmet or a chest piece or any other piece of non-weapon thing and encased it in foam just as easily. I mean, as it always is with security theater, it's like, if somebody wants to get in there, they're going to get in there, so your first line of defense can only take you so far as far as metal detecting people as they walk through the door. You still need a appropriate amount of actually trained and security people walking around the floor. And then, of course, the first line of defense completely falls if somebody just wants to walk in with the gun pointed at everybody and start shooting while they're in the line for the metal detector. So you're never 100% safe. You've never been guaranteed to be 100% safe in the world, and you never will be. I guess it's fine if people want to dress up. I feel like cosplay goes some weird ways. Like, another element on this is Twitter gaming. Recently has been retweeting people, girls in particular in cosplay, that is good cosplay but also slightly revealing. There's a pretty quick sliding scale there, and it's partially the fault of the video game creators themselves, because they make all the video game characters in scantily clad clothes, so it only makes sense that the people who cosplay in it are scantily clad clothes. On top of that, there are absolutely cosplayers that are paid to be there. There are absolutely cosplayers that are paid to be there in scantily clad clothing. There are cosplayers that aren't even really cosplayers and are just told, put these things on, it'll get a big reaction. In China and China and I think South Korea particularly, I've seen lots of stories where you'll have models that are just about the same, or cosplayers. I saw one of them where they are just nude, completely nude in the thing. It's like they'll have body paint on and that's it. Or one was dressed up as Misty from Pokemon and had a completely see-through top. It wasn't sheer, it was totally see-through. And absolutely she was paid by somebody to be there.
It's coming!
Let's see whenever it's... Go and play this.
Listen closely.
So there's some weirdness there. There's some weirdness when you have people in skin-clad clothing at a convention, and then like 5 steps later you've got the 30-year-old with his 4-year-old wandering around too. Even tested.com, which is gotten really awful in its most recent move. And
Are you my
a
master?
lot of stuff has happened there where it's fallen to pieces.
You are weak.
It's become really, really, like, not a good website anymore, sadly. But they had this creepy Lego minifig that was like painted. It was a guy in a costume like a minifig, but it's painted really, really realistic. So it was like if
Are
a
you
human
mocking
being
me?
had been squished into the shape of a minifig. So not the friendly yellow or from like the Lego movie or anything like that. It's not just a bigger version of a minifig. This was made intentionally to look creepy. And then they had the guy wander around
In the
in
light's name.
front of all the kids in the Lego booth. I
I
mean,
feast
totally,
upon
totally unacceptable in my mind.
this
You're
way.
being a public nuisance. So, I mean, yeah, it just gets weird. Is the convention for kids? Is the convention family friendly? Is it not? Then even if you get away from all of that, cosplay is just cosplay. I wish there were cosplay conventions. I wish there were so many more cosplay conventions so people would just go to those, and that the booth people would sell a bunch of video game fashion and stuff, and a bunch of anime stuff, because then you could have that fight, and Star Trek stuff, because Star Trek started cosplay, although in their case it was a little bit more just about the costumes than anything else. But yeah, I wish all of those things would get their press, and they would happen at the same time, or you could just split your convention. And maybe some people do that. They split the conventions so you don't see those people, and maybe it's just because I got it. But let's get back to Twitter for a second. I know I'm rambling probably a lot here, but
This way.
Twitter's been retweeting all of this stuff, which seems a little strange considering Twitter probably doesn't strike me as the type of people that would have done that. Twitter gaming, I mean, they are really really protective of the verified celebrities that they like. And they say that women are getting harassed all the time. They're saying their celebrities are getting harassed all the time. I think at the core of it is these celebrities just don't understand what the internet is. And that's the problem. Celebrities are are pampered babies. And this is the most general thing ever, but yeah, celebrities are pampered babies, and they're surrounded by yes men. They're surrounded by people who adore them and love them, or say they do at least. And so when they get to Twitter and they go, oh, there's trolls on the internet. Oh, people sometimes don't like me. They go to Twitter and say, fix this and stop this from happening, as if Twitter can really do it. So it seems really strange then when they say women are getting harassed all the time, that they would then turn around and do what and retweet scantily clad women, which to promote those women, certainly, but somebody is certainly going to have a problem with it. People have been having problems with scantily clad people for at least 400 years now. So I would think they would act a lot more conservatively if they were,
The light serves me.
because they certainly think that way in a lot of ways. Maybe I'm making too much out of that. Maybe I'm just seeing things that aren't there. So let's move on to the next story, as we're trying to, I suppose, wrap up here. Even if I don't get these things done. What does it say? Pray for the gods is flattered but terrified by the Shadow of the Colossus comparisons. So, Pray for the Gods, the Kickstarted game recently got $300,000, I believe, and got all that money by making comparisons itself to Shadow of the Colossus. Absolutely did that. Cannot deny that at all.
To your fear, sleep.
So they made all those comparisons. I've noticed I've started stopping a lot more as it's talking. I should probably just turn down my audio a little bit.
Is someone injured?
So they made all these comparisons to Shadow of the Colossus like it was going to be just like that game, which of course it would be stupid for anybody to really believe this. They're over-promising like crazy, and $300,000 is not the millions that you need to make a game like that. But now they're coming back and saying they're flattered but terrified by it. Well, they should be terrified. They should be terrified of the fact that they were basically setting up some fraudulent action to begin with. You can't really go to somebody and say, I'm gonna make this super awesome game, and then
Outsider!
as soon as you get the money from it, go, well, I'm really flattered that you think I'm gonna make this super awesome game, but start lowering your expectations now. That's fraud. It's just fraud. And so, again, we're back to the bait and switch thought.
Well played.
Final thing we have is, during Gamescom, there is a half-off sale on Steam that I'm kind of thinking about getting some games. Like Doom is down to $30. One of the games is down to $30, but if you got the season pass, you'd just be back up to $60, which is their typical trick. There was one like Rage that was down to 10, and then there was Wolfenstein: The New Blood, which is the sequel spin-off of Wolfenstein: The Old Order, or whatever it's called. So, some things to think about. I don't think I really can afford it right now. I've splurged on the Lego Ghostbusters Firehouse, which was $350, which is really, really expensive for Legos, but it's the first kit I've bought in like 2 years. It's probably going to be the last kit I buy for at least another 2 years, so that was my Christmas and birthday present to myself for the next couple of years. And so, but that money particularly wasn't even going to be able to be spent on video games anyways. So I'm thinking about to sell, but everything's 50% off, so maybe the winter sale everything would be cheaper. It all kind of just depends. Probably not gonna get anything. Probably set pretty well since the summer sale. So we are at 7,000 gold right now. I'm gonna play a little bit off screen. I have a lot of paperwork I need to do too, but I need to actually get footage, so I'm going to play Hand of Fate after this. But I'm going to play for 2 victories with the priest. I could go back to the Tavern Brawl and try that some more. We can definitely afford the next expansion. There will be no new cards to buy. So buying a 50 pack of cards for the solo adventure doesn't strike me as super interesting. It seems like it would make more sense to save up and buy a 50 pack of classic cards on top of a 50 pack of the next expansion. So that's going to be it for this recording session. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to. Let me know if I was talking some BS at some of that point. I feel like I may have been. And watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name Rydo. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.